All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the press coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. And like I promised earlier, we've now been joined by a guest. His name is Engineer Toba Owojaiye. He's a public affairs analyst, and together we shall be taking a look at some of the headlines I read out to you earlier. And this is also a reminder that our phone lines are now open for you to call and join the conversation. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, without wasting much time, let's get into the business of the day. According to the Nigerian Tribune this morning, Plateau boils again. Protests rock Mangu local government houses bonds as governor declares 24-hour curfew. And this is in relation to what's going on in the House of Assembly. The appeal court sacked 16 PDP lawmakers, say that the PDP does not have enough grant to produce lawmakers in. But then the Supreme Court overturned that by reaffirming the governor as the supposed governor or as the legitimate governor of Plateau State. And this has created a lot of unrest in Plateau State. Yeah. But I want to get your personal opinion. How do you react to this developing story? Yeah,
the Supreme Court did the right thing to stand by their trail or their track record that had been taking place in other elections that said nobody has a hand in inter-party matters. So that was already a PDP matter. Everything that was used to remove those lawmakers was a PDP affair. But because for the level of which they are on, they don't have a day in the Supreme Court. Their cases stop at appeal court. So at appeal court, they all lost that. If they had a day in the Supreme Court, they would have all been lawmakers. Yeah. But this is where our law is as at today. So I don't see why they should go. As much as I feel sad for them, I feel they should be compensated in some way. They should sue the Court of Appeal and the judges, claim damages. Yes, because I'm supposed to have been in this office and you took me off this office. Yes, and it was a wrong judgment, as can be seen now, but there's nothing that can be done about it right now. They are no more in that position, and what they should do is to seek recompense. Falana, who is one of the biggest names I respect, suggested that they should seek 4 years salaries that they should have gotten in the house. These are things that we could use as punitive measures for the compensation first, and then punitive measures for the Court of Appeal. But this heading to the house to go and take a seat that is no more yours, I don't subscribe to. It's wrong.
So you also agree that the ruling of the appeal court stands in their own case. It's because it had nothing to do. It's not attached to what's going on with that of the governor.
It's not attached at all.
So that's a failure to actually understand that this is the role of the appeal court, and they have no case with the Supreme Court. I think that's where all of these issues are coming from. But then you said they deserve some kind of compensation.
Yes.
Let's say, like in your statement, Falana's words, maybe some kind of 4 years upfront.
Yes.
We're complaining about the economic situation of the country. So how does that come from?
If just boils over and we now have a full-blown crisis in the whole country, how does that help our economic situation? You see, once you allow an injustice stand, then the scale of justice will tip and will fall off. This is pay. It has happened in NNPC. It has happened in many places. If you sack somebody unduly and you remove him from office, when he wins his case, he's recompensed with his salary and reinstated. Now, they cannot be reinstated. We've said that. Except the laws is changed. And the laws is changed, we can't backdate the law. So they are gone. Okay? But they can be compensated. Yes, a wrong was done to you by our legal system. We can compensate you for that wrong, but we can't bring you back in. This should be clear. And then a punishment, when you do good on one hand, you should punish on the other hand. Who are the judges who gave that rubbish judgment? They too should also take some part of the blame. They should maybe suspended or something. Something can be worked out, because you need the state to move on. The state is very fragile. You have a PDP governor, you have three senators from APC, you have the whole house from APC. So the governor is sitting on one leg of his chair. So they shouldn't, the party shouldn't pull him into this. They should go find a way to compensate them, give them appointments in smaller positions in the states, let them be happy. That's the political solution I see. Okay,
because you made mention of the judges who delivered the judgment deserving some kind of punishment for for the miscarriage of judgment. But in my own opinion, I want to ask, where does this now leave the judicial system? If the appeal court is delivering judgment and the Supreme Court is delivering judgment, and then the judgments are not aligning, and then there's a different judgment from this side and there's a different judgment, or maybe there's a different understanding from the judges on the particular case at hand. So how do you see this might affect the judicial system?
Before the Supreme Court, we had a lot of somersaults from the appeal courts. In this place it will favor this person, in another place to go completely against. The appeal court is like a football match, and the Supreme Court is like a VAR of a football, where you go and review the decisions taken. Supreme Court does not take in new evidence. It only reviews the decisions taken by the Court of Appeal and weighs it by all previous precedents. And then they now, of course, they are higher and more qualified people on that bench. So they now sit and look at the law for what the law stands for, and then they now give judgment. So sometimes the Court of Appeal can go wrong. It's understandable. The Court of Appeal can go wrong. They can just look at it on a case-by-case issue, but the Supreme Court gives it a overall view that if we allow this goes wrong, then it goes against this other judgment given here and goes against this other. So no, we can't allow this here. So it's like a last line of defense, which they have done a very good job, in my opinion.
All right, and now the role of the people of Plateau State in all of this, because we see how this has metamorphosized into crisis. Houses are being burnt down, churches, mosques are being burnt down, and I'm wondering, is this the way to go?
I won't ascribe the burning of churches and the attack on the villages to this event that happened yesterday. I would say it has been pushed since December, because we've had this since last month. This is beyond lawmakers' rant. This is a continuous battle for land and for power. Some people claim to have owned the land for years. These are headers. They say this is their trade route, and they've walked through this trade route for years, but they didn't own any land there. They didn't put anything down because they are migrants. They migrate with their goods for centuries. Now the other people say, we have been here. We had farms here while you were passing. So now it's a drag between me, who has been passing for centuries, and you that has now built. Yes. So these are all the contentions that is still happening. This is beyond politics. This is beyond lawmakers. This is a matter that needs to be headed, faced squarely and dealt with. You cannot, for any reason, begin to kill people or burn people's villages or anything. That age is way gone. This is 2024, and it cannot stand. All
right, now leaving the Plateau State matters, and let's see what's going on in the world of security. A lot has been going on when we speak about security in Nigeria for a very long time, but for some reasons it has trickled down to the federal capital, and it has become a very big issue. In your own, maybe from your stories that you've heard or from experiences, what would you say regarding the issues of insecurity that has ravaged FCT? And you know, insecurity in FCT, when we talk about kidnapping, we talk about the issue of one chance. We talk about burglary, which I experienced in like a week ago. I was home and somebody broke into my house and took away everything that I owned. So it's a very sad experience, but it's not just me. It happens to a lot of people. Like people, it just happens that people just, especially this issue of you're in your house and somebody walks into your house and takes away everything. You just talk about it, but it's not something that goes on the news. So when we see issues of one chance and kidnapping and all of that, abduction in FCT, it's becoming like an everyday story.
Yes.
So for some reasons, it's more like this is the Federal Capital Territory, but insecurity is here dealing with us. So I want to get your personal opinion, what you think about this issue. Then how do you think we went wrong to bring us to where we are currently?
What I would say may sound tough, may sound like I'm not sympathetic to what happened in your house, which I am. But something always leads to something.
Yeah.
There's an Abuja master plan. We are defecting that master plan. We are, in the name of survival, we are pushing that master plan to the brink, and we are now getting the side effects of that. There are many parts of Abuja town that are not supposed to even be dwelling places of the poor or the low class, not because they cannot live there, but there are classes of people who stay in certain areas, and then banditry starts, stealing starts. Is this clear? You cannot, in all the incidences we've had so far, we've not had 4 houses were burgled in Metama. No, because the master plan in that area is still retained. I'll give you an illustration of what happened with my granddad. He was in charge of Ikoyi houses, and while there were big houses there, one woman started selling bread. So they allowed her. Another person started selling akara, and they allowed her. Then a woman started selling agbo, and they said, no, we won't take this. And the woman said, the poor, you hate the poor. Everybody's struggling. You help these 2 women. Me, what's the problem? So he now explained himself. People can just come and buy this and go. But when we allow you to sell this here, rough boys will come and sit here. This would be a good excuse for them to sit here. Sit opposite my gate and monitor people coming in and out of my gate. It's going to become a security issue very soon. So the FCT needs to go back to its master plan. I agree with the FCT minister. I believe that every car should have a tracker. First of all, you have to do a shutdown on everybody. Every car should have a tracker. Every car should have a tracking device, such that if somebody is picked up in this car, or this car, someone enters this car and after that claims he was robbed, from his phone number, which is on him, as he enters this car, we can tell the last car he entered. We can tell the number of that car. We can tell where that car is. If any car removes his tracker, then we know that that car has a bad intent. Okay. FCT must be faced squarely and solely. FCT is the business hub of Nigeria. We are attracting the whole world. We can't be having these issues. We are bringing the whole world to come and invest here. FCT can't be unsafe. So I know the FCT minister is going to be more stringent. He has called on his senators to pass in more stricter laws. As at today, the punishment for stealing a solar light in FCT is 30,000 naira. Now, if that solar light is costing about 500,000, and you say, if I steal it and I will pay 30,000, then why won't I steal it? So this is what he's saying. There has to be more stringent laws for all of this. All right.
We're still talking about the issues of now you've talked about burglary and all of that.
Yes.
Let's talk about kidnapping and this one chance thing, because aside one chance, that you've spoken about the unpainted taxes and all of that, which we'll still come back to.
Yes.
But then there's this issue of kidnapping. We've not spoken about that. So the question is, how did we get here? Because you said it's the master plan, we need to reject the master plan and all of that. But those being affected by these issues of kidnapping are not only those staying in the parts that have sprung out of the master plan,
yes,
or of the master plan.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Kidnapping in the FCT.
Yes, a friend of mine asked me to help him get a house in Abuja. He's getting married 14 days time, and then after to get him a house in Abuja, and he says, please get me a house where people are living plenty. I was like, what? I gave him some other areas. He said, no, I don't want to live in any new mansion, outskirts of town where I can be easily picked off. I want to live in the heart of people. I want to live where people are. You see, the problem with kidnapping, kidnapping is a horrible thing that is almost hard to face out. Why? Because when somebody stays, who was earning 50,000 in a month, joins a kidnapping gang, all his work is to inform on people that are soft targets that have money, and he gets 1 million just for being an informant, and he was working for 30,000 before. He's not going to see that 30,000 as any money again.
Yeah.
He won't do anything. He'll just sit down and wait for the next, and he will increase his spending. He will increase his luxury. He'll just wait for the next deal. So kidnapping has become luxurious, where you kidnap somebody and get 100 million. And it's not it's something that we have to make it that kidnappers know that they cannot have more than 5% chance to survive after they kidnap. Right now, that is not the case. Right now, we have almost a 5% chance that if you kidnap somebody, you get the money and you get away with it. This is very bad. This has to change. This has to go as far as, if you kidnap somebody, you most likely not make it alive. You most likely will be caught in hours. This is the way FCT has to go. FCT has to have more checkpoints. We had checkpoints before. We removed the checkpoints for ease of movement. We have to bring checkpoints back. Kidnappers have to be faced and arrested and dealt with. The laws have to be moved. I've said it here when I was here last. The law for a civil case, the amount of time to detain somebody on a civil case should be different from the amount of time you can detain somebody on a criminal case, and must be different from the time you can legally hold somebody for a terrorism and kidnapping case. The lawmakers should push for 30 days. If you are held, if you are caught for a terrorist issue, the police or whoever should have the power to hold you for 30 days to extract as much information from you. So this has to change. This is not the same thing as robbery. This is not the same thing as a civil case. These laws must change. When laws change, the powers enforcing law changes and has more power.
Okay, you also made mention of the fact that in your opinion, you said right now there's an 85% chance of that people can get away with issues of kidnapping and all of that. So who do we blame for that? Because you said we need to take it down as low as possible. The percentage should be as low as possible. So who do we blame for that 85% that we are having now that is bringing up all of these challenges? Because it's more like, I agree with you that people just do it and feel like I will get away with it, and they do it and they actually do get away with it. So is this an issue of the security operatives, and what do you think, if it is, that they can do differently? And also on the Punch this morning, Kano and 9 other states are mulling death sentence and life imprisonment for convicts. So how do you react to that?
I don't blame them. Let me tell you what happened to kidnapping like 8 years ago in Kaduna. That first of all reduced it before it now escalated again. And I dare to say that 90% of kidnapping at the beginning was politically motivated, which is why we always warn. At the beginning? Yes. People who use, in the name of politics, fan the embers of these disasters. Later it will come back to bite you. It's like buying a small lion or in your house and you are petting it. One day it will come for your kids. So it always starts with politics. Let's do this to cause some rancor. Let's do terrorism makes everybody become afraid. No matter how rich you are or poor you are, everybody now becomes on. So it starts on that note. But in Kaduna back then, if they catch you as a kidnapping victim, you'll be burnt on the spot. It stopped it for a while, but you can't make that a law, because somebody can use it to punish his opponents or anybody has had a small quarrel with. So it's a tough place to handle. Truly, it's a very the police can do more. The FCT minister can do more. He's somebody I know that has fought terrorism and boundary and robbery in River State to a halt. I believe he will do it here. This is not his exact terrain. This is not his tribe people, but I think he will do a good work, and I think he's sitting up to his responsibility. Okay, you also just mentioned that the police can do more, and I'm wondering how much more can they do, because we always constantly hear that the police are understaffed or they are on demand. So, and I'm wondering,
when you say they can do more, what exactly do you think or do you suggest should be done differently? To put into consideration, they are outnumbered.
First of all, they need to be better equipped. We need to have more policemen. But for me, community policing needs to come into play. A good synergy between street vigilantes and police. In my community where I live, I have gathered the people around there. I told everybody, every house buy a whistle. A whistle is a very active and good device. It's used in England. In England, all the police holds is a whistle and a baton. That's what the policeman holds in England. A whistle and a baton. He alerts and he chases. He doesn't even have a gun before. Basic police. Whistle, baton. So with a whistle, if you have any issue in your house, you blow your whistle. Your neighbor blows the whistle. The next neighbor blows the whistle. We know that there's a problem on ground. Okay. Next to that, the police needs to, no, you guys need to pay me for this. The police needs to come up with an app that's on every person's phone, every Nigerian's phone, that has your location, that has where you are. If there's a terrorism issue, just press the center knob. You don't need to tell us a special what's happening in your place. The device begins to listen. The device begins to give your location. The device begins to pick up any other phone line that is in your environment that is moving. All of these things, we must use technology. We must use intelligence so that when the house is picked up, the security, as the person has already alerted security, they are able to use the MTN or masts to triangulate where it is, and immediately that same information goes to the closest police unit, who can now respond and know the exact location. We need to use technology. We are not using technology enough. If they want to consult with me, I am here for.
So what you're trying to say now is no longer an issue of manpower. So we need to switch and focus more on how to invest in technology than the manpower. So I'm going to take us back to the instance that you made. You said in your area you already alerted people to get a whistle and all of that and arm themselves with a whistle. My question is going to be, so in a situation where there's an issue and everybody goes off with their whistle, what happens? How do you handle that situation? Because yes, you know that there's a situation on ground, but currently, how would you handle that situation?
It has worked for normal robbery. Okay. This I brought this because we've done it in Kaduna before, where we were, and every time a whistle is blown, the people who are planning to rob take off. Okay. Because I don't know how comfortable you will be. You want to rob somebody, you want to harm somebody, and every house in the area is blowing a whistle. It destabilizes them first of all. Okay. Because why they do it, everybody who wants to rob or kidnap is not looking for the largest attention. That's why they go for lonely places, lonely estates, lonely aisles. They want to do something quietly, do it and go. So what you do is disrupt it from being quiet. Okay. Yes, that's the aim. And once you do that, the person takes off. And as they take off, if the security is already alarmed, they can block all exit points. So this can be fought, but it has to be fought wise. It has to be fought with tact and IT. Okay. Well,
we hope that the Nigerian police, maybe someone somewhere
was
listening, and maybe somebody picked something from what you've said so far. But I'm also considering maybe I should get a whistle on my way home today. And
please get a whistle and get people in your street around your house.
Maybe I'll just buy a whistle and share to everybody and see how that's going to go. But then I think sadly the price of dollar in the market today might affect the price of the whistle, so it might not really be an easy task. But my question is, this issue of dollar, we keep talking about it every day, but it just seems like the more we talk about it, dollar seems to just keep boosting and it just keeps growing, and we don't like before we came on air I was saying I just feel like at this point everybody should just hold something, just all Nigerians should just put hand and wage the naira and see if it will have some kind of hold. But this morning before I got into the studio, we were discussing, I was my colleague Olamide was saying that dollar is, I think, said 1,350 naira. Somebody said no, it's 1,400 this morning. And I'm wondering, like, you wake up every day to a new price. Yes. How do we solve this issue of dollar? Because take it or leave it, it's affecting the economy heavily. Yes. And the more it keeps growing, things get out of hand in Nigeria. And one thing that we know for sure is that these issues, the economic issue, will obviously and will continue to affect security.
Yes.
So it's a chain of events. So how do we handle dollar so that it will stop, Naira will stop collapsing?
It's a vicious circle, very vicious circle, and I pity the president. I pity anybody in power at this time, because the variables are not in our favor at all. Nigeria is hardly producing anything. This will continue driving down our value. There's so much I can say, but not on this short span of time. But we still import food into Nigeria. And the country we're importing food into, I can tell you that there are, I won't mention the countries, 2 countries who go to our farms and buy the products before they are harvested. And they fly them, move them out of Nigeria and go and store them in their own countries. And they buy them here for peanuts and go and sell them on international markets for very high prices. So this is part of our problem. What is produced locally is going abroad for peanuts, first of all. Okay. Then secondly, the government will say, okay, let all the people that Buhari gave fertilizers, gave grants, gave loans, by the time they got their products back, they didn't say, oh, let's look for the cheapest price to sell. What all of them said is, how much is this good going for in the market? So no matter how you subsidize these things, when people go to the market, they'll get greedy. They'll get greedy for gain. So no matter how you give them land, give them jobs, give them grants, they will still sell at market price. So why did we spend all our time giving them all of that money? Let's focus on Nigeria's production. I was talking with a state aspirant that I mentioned earlier, and he's talking about them farming in Edo State, farming across 7 local governments. Till that happens, till we improve our local production, we'll keep having what we're having here. Dangote is coming up strong. Once he sells in Naira, it will reduce the demand on dollar. Every company needs to produce in Nigeria. Whatever, we need to know the list of 50 things that are having the highest demand for dollar in this country, and build a maybe 4-year plan on making sure that all those companies are in Nigeria and producing in Nigeria. That's what we need to do. We need to depend less on the dollar. That's all the issue. But it's hard. It's hard. It's as you are doing it, things are getting worse. Until you're able to do that, until you're able to produce your eyeglass in Nigeria, until you're able to produce my suit in Nigeria, until you're able to produce my wristwatch in Nigeria. These are the things, these were the things that happened back in the 60s. We had all the companies, batteries were made in Nigeria. We had mills in Nigeria. We were producing in Nigeria. We were hardly importing anything from Nigeria. So the Naira was stronger than dollar. We need to get back there. It's going to be hard. Our ladies would have to wear more of Nigerian outfits. We have to have more of our fabrics. And women like that. They already like that already. So
productions are going on in Nigeria, but it's now for the people to want to invest in those products. Because if you go to Aba, you will be amazed at the kind of things that are being produced in Aba. But Nigerians don't want to wear made in Nigeria. They would prefer to wear the Gucci and all of that than wear what was made here in Nigeria. So it's more of the people problem than even a just produce problem. Yeah,
then we should market it. We should brand it. We should pay celebrities to wear it. You build a business around it. Okay, so let's say this dress is very fine and it's produced in Aba, and I pay Flavor 10 million to wear it. And I pay Fino and Olamide money to wear it, and Davido wears it next. All the youths will buy it. It will become a brand. So we need to build, we need to be solution driven. It's not a problem. If we produce it in Aba and it's good, then we need to make Nigerians like it. The companies are using the youths, Glow, all the big companies, UBA, they are picking up on these artists, using them as their ambassadors. We need to have them also as Nigerian product ambassadors. We need to get them driving an Innocent. if I was a marketer for this companies, you would drive an Innocent. But I would proudly drive my Innocent and snap with it.
Are using popular celebrities as brand ambassadors. They are trying their best to put their brands out there. Let me take for instance, we have Techno, we have Infinix, we have Oppo. Take for instance, Big Brother Niger was sponsored by most of these brands. They have people like Davido and Wizkid and Rema as brand ambassadors, but Nigerians will always go for the iPhone.
But no. The rich Nigerians are still going for the iPhone. But let me tell you, Techno is doing very well. Oraimo went for Two-Face, and they are now the code of greatest use. They've now moved into 12 different devices.
True.
Pick a Nigerian celeb, it will work. Pick a good celeb, give us a good product. We Nigerians like it. Nigerian music is selling globally. Nigerian movies are selling globally. If you give us Two-Face and Thames and Arista,
so now you are no longer buying the product, you are buying the ambassadors,
which is what the white people also do.
True.
That's why you hear Rihanna is working with Gucci. What's her business? She's singing, but they want to tie on her fame to sell their products. You go to every song and you hear Moet. Moet is, she has a cut in every Moet phone. So without Moet calling you, you trying to keep to the hype and class, will force yourself to take those drinks and snap with those drinks, and you're doing free work for them. We can do it here.
Okay, because I don't want us to keep talking about this issue, because I also noticed that for some reason some of these brands that we mentioned that are doing exceptionally well are no longer brands like low end or no longer the low, because I saw, I think 2 days ago I was going through a platform, a marketplace, or I'm not going to mention the name, and I was looking at the phone. I'm like, I told my brother, can you imagine that Techno now sells a phone for 400 and I think it was 448,000, like Techno that we all know about. You hardly see a Techno phone because I remember days where we used to buy Techno phones like you can just afford it, and Techno phones are now going for 108 something thousand naira. It's not business as usual now. That you need to put people out there is even making it look like, okay, you mentioned Oraimo.
Yes,
Oraimo products are not cheap. They use a lot of influencers to market their product, but these influencers have to be paid, and it's also going to reflect on the price of the product. How much do you think Oraimo airport is in the market?
I think
just the airport alone is like almost 36,000 naira. Oraimo
has risen to the point where they don't even need to market their products for now, because they are now the standard for a good charger. If my cord goes bad now, whether I go to a shop, I ask for Oraimo. Straight up. I don't waste time. But they want to also serve the global market. They want to serve the up-end Nigerian also. But they should also remember that they still have to have small products with the same quality, maybe lesser camera, lesser functions, but they need to still have the same ability to work on the low market and on the high end. Because let me tell you the truth, Nigerian ladies will always end up with the high-end phone. No matter what you say about it, it's a reality. The person who's planning, any lady's dream phone for December is the next high-end phone. So you have to understand that.
All right.
These are realities.
Well, we're running out of time, but I don't know if you're a sport lover. I just want to, ease the tension.
Yes.
What are your expectations for Nigeria in AFCON? How do you see all of this turning out? Because I know that if you ask me, I'll say they've been doing really well. So what are your expectations for Nigeria?
Yeah, we can go far. It's been a very, very interesting tournament. A lot of big teams are struggling, and we are able to pull off just slight victories, 1-0, 1-0 victories. And I see us doing well. We are up against Cameroon. Cameroon is also a strong team. I hope to see a more vibrant Nigerian team. We are never intimidated. The bigger the challenge, the bigger we come up. We have big names, Osimhen. We have the boys who can come up any day. I saw a video of Drogba going to greet the Nigerian team. He has to feel we are the hype team. We have hype.
Yeah.
That's what Nigeria
so with this
has.
hype, how far do you see us going with our hype?
I know. I believe we'll get to the semi-final, and if they can put their heads down, they can go all the way. But there's a lot of variables to it. You can pick up a red card. Your opponents can pick up a red card. You can have an injury. So there's a lot you cannot crystallize. It's safe to say that we can get to the semi-finals.
All right.
And we can go all the way.
Well, I hope so too. I want to see the boys swim, because I'm not really a fan of football, but for some reasons I just can't shut my ears from this whole AFCON thing, because everybody's talking about it. I just don't want it to look like everybody's talking about it, you're not talking about it. So I've been forced to watch some matches, and it's like they say, football is a game of passion. I don't like football because as young as I am, when I try to watch it gives me hypertension, so so I don't indulge. Okay.
I like football. I prefer to watch the highlights.
Oh, you prefer to watch? I think I'll start doing that. Maybe watch the highlights after the match is over, so that the tension won't be so much. Yeah. I buy that idea. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Nice it's been amazing talking to you, and I hope you shared some tips that I already bought. Maybe I will still buy whistle. Maybe even if it's the cheaper ones, made in Nigeria whistle. Just buy whistle. You heard what he said. You can always alert your neighbors. Your neighbors can alert you, and everybody can always get alert when some kind of situations comes in your, but please do not engage. I do not. Okay,
then let me also add that all communities should have a WhatsApp group. Yes, within your area, everybody living in that street should have a WhatsApp group, so that if there's anything happening, you can complain on the WhatsApp group. Everybody knows your house. Everybody knows where the issues are. It can also help. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the program. And with that, we draw the curtain today on the press, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. Till I come your way tomorrow, I am Sandra Ago. Many thanks for watching.